Raw and Nerdy.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Raw and Nerdy. This is episode number 74. I am Joe the Widget, and I am joined by my co-host, Mr. Rook.
What is up, everybody? That
That was actually not a bad impression. That's pretty good. Archon is out on vacation with a family, so he is not on the show today. So it's only been incomplete show the last two episodes.
How dare you have a family and have to go on vacation with them?
How dare he have fun? What is with that?
I know, right?
I don't even know what that is anymore.
I'm glad he's out with his family. He deserves a vacation after everything working for FedEx. Oof.
Yeah, it sounds like they're going to have fun. He said they've got 4 days on the road driving to Florida, and they're going to spend 3 days out there, and it sounds like they're going to have a good time.
4 days to drive to Florida?
Well, 2 there and 2 back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
4 days round trip.
Yeah, round trip.
I was like, that's a really long trip just to go halfway across the country.
Not all at once.
Yeah, I'm one of those that when I do road trips, I plan the last cross country road trip I did. I planned to take break on the trip out there and on the trip back. So I took like a full 7 days off. I ended up driving straight through to get there and then straight through to get back. I'm like, why? I planned to stop, but I just was like, I'm into it. I just finish it.
I've driven to Buffalo, New York, and back 3 times.
I have never driven that
a rough
far.
drive.
The farthest I've gone from California is to Kentucky.
That's still a good hike. It's a couple days on the road.
32 hours straight.
You did it straight?
Yeah, I drove straight through. I didn't stop.
That's
stopped
harsh,
for
man.
I
That's
stopped for
dangerous.
Then it was drive out and pick up a friend of mine that wanted to move back to California. So I helped her move back. She drove. On the way back, we tag teamed. So I actually did get sleep on the way back, but we drove nonstop. I had somebody to tag team, but I put on an audiobook. I finished a complete series of audiobooks on the way out there because they were 12-hour books. And
Yeah, that'll do it.
I just got lost in the books and I didn't want to, and I just autopiloted.
I do that all the time. I listen to audiobooks constantly because I still drive a bit for work, even though my new position is supposed to be driving less. I went to San Diego last week, and I'm going back this week for 2.5, 3 days.
Now, let's be honest. This is an easier trip for you than it was before.
Hell yeah. Without traffic, it's an hour and 25 minutes, hour and 20 minutes, but I don't get that lucky. So it's about a 2-hour drive instead of a 3.5 to 4 hour.
You're like me every time me and my buddy John, when we go to the aviation museums or stuff out in LA, every time he'd drive, no traffic. Every time I drive, traffic.
Yep. I've been learning the meaning of traffic now that I'm living back in LA again, aka Riverside. And there's always traffic. Always.
I'm lucky enough. I live in DFW now. For those who don't know, I moved back to DFW, Texas. I have been lucky enough to work a shift where I hit a little bit of traffic during the day, but at night, when I get off work, nothing. Nobody's on the road at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, well, that's like the best time to drive anywhere, in most cases. I have another office, so my primary office is Riverside. That's where I'm stationed out of, and thankfully it's only a 5-minute drive from home. Really quick and easy. But my other office I have to go to regularly is in Santa Ana, right outside of Anaheim. They're like right in between Disney and Knott's Berry Farm. And it's supposed to be, according to the maps, if there's no traffic, it's a 40-minute drive. The last time I drove out there, it took me an hour and a half to get there and 2.5 hours to get home.
Yeah, that's rough. When I was driving for Lyft in 2018, I'd drive on the weekends, and oh my God, that is where I learned to be an aggressive driver.
Yeah, you kind of have to.
Yeah, you cannot be a cautious, courteous driver in LA because, let's just be honest, I'm going to say it as it is, they're assholes on the road.
Yeah, and a lot of these people I've noticed on the freeways are just scared to drive. They'll be going 55 and a 65, causing this traffic, and they'll be doing that in the left lane.
Yeah, that one I don't understand. I ran into that here in Fort Worth a couple of days ago. We're cruising along, speed limit 65, and there's a line of like 6 or 7 cars stuck behind this person in the left lane going the speed limit, while everybody in the right 2 lanes are going faster than that person.
Yeah, and I've noticed something about LA traffic, which is hilarious. When there's no traffic, obviously the left lanes are where you want to be if you're going to go a little bit faster than the speed limit. Everyone does it. Come on. Let's get real, people.
No, of course.
But when there's traffic going 5, 10 miles an hour, the right lanes are the fastest lanes by far.
Which is funny because that's where all the merging usually happens.
Yeah. So I'm always wind up, okay, I'm in traffic. I'm going to hit those right lanes. And suddenly I gain another 5 or 10 minutes than what my GPS is going to say.
But if you think about it, it's because everybody's trying to merge into the left lane to avoid the traffic, so all that space just keeps opening up.
And all those scared drivers that were in the right lane wind up in the left lanes.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be a scared driver. It's worse.
And invest in a dash cam. They are lifesavers.
Oh,
and
yes.
You see some really funny things, too, when you do that.
I noticed my new car has a front-facing camera right behind the rearview mirror.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no way to access it. It's only used for the software in the car for lanes, for the auto drive.
Yeah, it's looking for certain things.
I don't understand why they just can't put a little bit of a software package to update it to where you can have a front cam as well. I mean,
That's a good question.
Wouldn't take much to do it.
Unless they didn't put any storage for the camera.
Yeah, I mean, that's
the only thing I can
$40.
think of. I mean, the only good thing about a Tesla is the fact it has Tesla cam. It has a forward, 2 side pillars, and an aft camera. And it also has 2 B-frame pillar cameras, which are for recorded, and you have to actually specifically request that camera footage from Tesla themselves if you, for whatever reason. So that is the good thing about Tesla cars.
I have a simple little K4.
Yeah, but I was going to say, if Tesla can easily implement that, why can't most modern cars implement it?
Yeah, I know. And there's see, I have a Kia, which I never thought I'd own again, but it's such a good car. I have a K4, and it's got a lot of the whole package. So the entire front dash isn't just one big screen.
Mm-hmm.
So it has all the software packages that do that. I can do a ton with that car. Like, it has the whole lane assistance, which is annoying but cool at the same time. It has the blind spot warning system and indicators. It has the whole 9 yards. And I have auto steering and the adaptive cruise control. So it has technology, and all you gotta do is just do a little bit of a software upgrade, and there's already memory built into the screen. Just upgrade it, and there you go.
Yeah. I mean, it can be like my aftermarket dash cam. I run the Rove 2 4K, and it overwrites 48 hours worth of video. Yeah. And I can just pull it off, plug it into my computer, download the videos I want, and just reattach it into my vehicle. And it's awesome because it records in 4K, really good quality, and I don't ever have to worry about it unless I need that video. And if for whatever reason I need to access that video, I can Wi-Fi link with the camera and actually play the video on my phone.
Yeah.
So
mine has the same option.
So there's plenty of, and the memory card on it's only a micro SD card. So it's not like they can't just put one. If they got one for my maps on my truck, they can easily put one for a dash cam built in.
I'm wondering if it's something like there's like an upgrade option to where you can use that cam as that feature. But
now the question is it a camera or is it just a sensor?
It's a full camera.
Okay.
So I take a picture of the front of my car, my front windshield. There's 2 cameras. One where they have built in, and then my dash cam. I don't know. Anyway, back to the show. We're going to be talking about the Wii U just a little bit. We don't have a top 10 list. Neither of us really played too much of the Wii U. I did own one, but I mostly just played my Wii games on it and a couple of the upgraded HD versions. We're going to get into that. We got a bunch of news to talk about, and we're going to talk a little bit about like NASA's future space exploration plans and a little bit of tabletop as well.
Yeah, the Wii U, I just never got into the Wiis.
I did for my family, just to play with the family, and other than that, it was just a novelty to me. My hardcore gaming was my PlayStation.
Yeah, I was during their lifespans. I was heavy into Xbox, second by PlayStation.
That's why you're our Xbox guy. I'm useless in that category, but give me a PlayStation all day. And next week we're gonna be talking PlayStation 4, so that's gonna be a big one.
Oh yeah.
We're getting very, very close to the current generation, which I'm going to be useless for because I've never played any of the new generation systems. So that's going to be fun.
Luckily, the biggest issue is I don't own an Xbox. I don't own the current gen Xbox. I do have a PS5, and I play a lot of baseball on it, and I have played some other games, but I'll give those when we get to that system.
I miss playing our baseball.
I do too. And And now you can play college teams on MLB Show 25.
Oh, really? Do they have like a progression where you can go from college if you do the character?
Yeah. You
Yeah,
actually start off high school getting drafted into the MLB, and you can also do college.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought so too.
We kicked butt in that game.
We did.
World
And
Series
then,
champions.
and that same year, the Rangers went to the World Series and won it.
I'm telling you, it's a coincidence, man. It's not a coincidence because I did that one year when I was a big Green Bay fan when I first moved to Buffalo, New York.
Mm-hmm.
I played NFL on my PlayStation, and I played as Green Bay Packers. Went all the way to the Super Bowl and won it that year. Green Bay went to the Super Bowl and won it. You and I played baseball and played the Rangers, and we win it. So they got to start paying me to play their team in those games.
Exactly.
UFL started today.
Oh yeah, and I can go watch the Arlington Renegades play. I saw that advertisement today.
I was at the gym
See
this
it.
morning and I saw it and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that starts.
I very highly seriously doubt anybody from that runs the Veteran Tickets Foundation, actually listens to our show. But shout out to them because of them, I've gone to a few NASCAR races and everything, and I won't be using them to go to some sporting events when they start. See if they have any Dallas Cowboys tickets when the season starts.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, well, NASCAR is huge into supporting troops, so they donate all the time to the Veteran Tickets Foundation.
Okay. I have heard of that.
Mhm.
So how was your week, man?
Well, it's been work, sleep,
Oh,
and
I know that
repeat
feeling all
with,
too well.
with adding in the workout, because if I don't work out before I go to work, I feel weird.
See, I told you it becomes
Mostly,
habit.
mostly because I have more energy during the week when I actually work out.
Yeah, exactly. I always when I go to the gym, even though I have to get up at 5:30 in the freaking morning and I have to leave for work at 7:30, when I get up and I go to the gym, I'm a lot less tired than if I was to sleep until 7 and then go to work.
So I get up at 9 o'clock in the morning. I go to the gym. Well, I rinse off in the shower, then go to the gym. And then after the gym, I come home, feed the dogs, get ready for work, go to work. When I get off of work, I am tired and actually go to bed right after work. Well, after I shower.
Oh yeah, after you're doing a second shift, that's kind of key.
Yeah, but the thing is working second shift is more conducive to me going to the gym because I find out going to the gym before work for me is a lot easier than me going to the gym.
It really is. That's why I get up so early because it's so much easier than if I was to try to go after work. So many things can get in the way.
So me trying to go to the gym before work in California was nearly impossible because I was not getting up at 2:30 in the morning to go to the gym.
I mean, you can readjust your schedule, but that's more like being almost a graveyard shift at that point.
Yeah, get up at 2:30 so I can go to the gym and then start my morning prep when I get home at about 3:15, 3:30ish, and then leave for work at 4:45. Yeah.
Yeah, I only go to the gym for an hour, and it's 6 minutes away, so it works for me. Like I do 30 minutes on a treadmill, just do about a mile and a half. Then I do my weight workout, keeping my heart rate going, so I don't take a lot of breaks.
Mhm.
And boom, I'm ready for the day. Go home, take a quick rinse shower, get ready for work, and go.
When in California, if I would have had a normal, I don't have to leave for work until say 5 o'clock in the morning. It wouldn't have been no big deal to get up early to go to the gym. But it's amazing what waking up at 3:30, 2:30 in the morning versus 3:30 in the morning. The big difference in energy levels and wanting to succeed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you and I kind of been kicking butt with it lately. I'm so proud of you guys.
Yeah, I really needed to. I looked at myself one day and weighed it, and I was at 240, and I just thought I've got to make a change.
Yeah.
I'm eating more, which is what's helping out a lot because I'm not perpetually in starvation mode.
Yeah, it's not good for you.
So I'm eating more, well proportioned throughout the day, and I am hitting the gym for anywhere between 30 and 40 minutes a day, and then it's off to work where I'm already active at work. So it helps that I don't have a job where I'm sitting behind a desk
Hey, now.
all the time. I get up and walk around a lot.
Funny is like I do have a desk job, but yet I'm been up moving around a whole lot the last couple months.
Yeah.
I'm sitting at my desk maybe half the day at the most.
Oh yeah, I sit at my desk for like maybe 2 to 3 hours a night at most total.
Just doing paperwork.
That's where I'm just catching up on paperwork. Otherwise, I'm walking out into the hangar to see how the guys are doing. I'm walking down to another hangar. I'm averaging when I take my dog for a walk daily. I average about 10 to 13,000 steps a day.
Yeah, I remember working at General Atomics. I did so many steps. I'd walk 3 miles a day sometimes.
Dude, that's because they spaced everything out.
Yeah. I had to go do a battery run. Okay. That's a half mile right there.
hmm Yeah, I'm glad I'm not with that company anymore.
Yeah, it makes two of us.
Anyhow, back to my week.
Yeah.
Outside of that, while at work, I've been looking into, well, during my breaks at work, I've been looking into The Legend of the White Dragon. It's Jason David Frank's last movie that he filmed before we lost a good actor. So I want to watch it because it's a sci-fi movie. It's not necessarily a Power Ranger movie. So I'm like,
Yeah, I've never even heard of it.
it should be good. I don't know much about it outside of it's in post production. They've already did all the changes they're going to do and stuff. Now it's just
It does look very Power Ranger-ish.
it looks like it, but it's also just more of a basic sci-fi movie
Gotcha.
with feels of the Power Rangers. Well, because Jason David Frank spent his entire career Power Ranger. But it looks good. It's in the final wraps of post production, so it should be coming out this year. So we'll see what happens.
Dude, I cannot wait to go see Minecraft next week.
Oh yeah, that comes out next week, huh?
Yo.
I forgot that. I want to go see it. It looks like a good movie.
My
We'll discuss.
my birthday's in a couple days. Well, as of you guys listening to the show, most of you will. My birthday's the day after.
Yeah, his birthday is on Tuesday.
Yep.
So happy early birthday, sir.
I appreciate it, bud. I'm gonna be in San Diego working.
Oh, that's the best birthday. Me, I'll be working, but I'm gonna take 4th of July week off. Well, weekend off, so I can go up to Minnesota and see my biological father.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. But back to my week because we'll keep
Yeah.
getting deviated.
Hey, that's cool, man. That's cool. That's what the show's about.
So my brother wanted me to play Monster Hunter Wilds with him.
That's funny. My brother's been bugging me to do the same thing.
My brother bought me a copy of the game, so I'd play Monster Hunter Wilds with him. So that's what I've been doing this past week.
Now, if he would
Or
have
this
bought me
past
the game, I
weekend.
would have done it. But I'm
Yeah.
not gonna spend the money on it.
Yeah, my issue with the game, and it's an issue that has caused me to die multiple times in the Chapter 3 fights, is the controls. They did a horrible job with the controls. It's not that they feel clunky. The controls don't feel clunky at all, but the problem is hit a certain button and you'll put your weapon away in the middle of a fight.
Oh
Not the best thing you want to have happen.
no.
Like, you can't sprint with your weapon out. Your guy will put the weapon away and then you can sprint.
That doesn't make much sense.
You can't take a healing potion with your weapon out. He has to put it away before you can drink a healing potion.
Okay.
Yeah, so it slows down the combat a little bit when you're sitting there having to put your weapon away to do things. But when you're actually fighting and you remember not to hit the button to put your weapon away, the combat's smooth, aggressive, and it's fun when you got other people playing with you because different styles of fighting go into play. My brother, when we're fighting, he will switch over to a melee weapon and start meleeing the enemies while I'm sitting here with a bow shooting them from range. And it's effective.
Yeah.
He will sit there and wound certain areas because he's getting more attacks in at a time, and I'm sitting here just hitting the wounds and destroying them, injuring the creature more. It's fun to play. The story is mediocre.
I've heard that.
I can get by with a mediocre story as long as it's okay story. It's not like this is a trope story or a cliche story. The problem is, and the reason why I would not rate this game high, is the controls. That is it.
Yeah, I've heard that too, though.
Yeah.
And a lot of people that were fans of the Monster Hunter game series didn't like the new direction they went with that, especially in the combat-wise.
Yeah, they didn't go full open world anymore. It's narrow on the scope of where you can go.
Yeah, so it's kind of on rails.
Sort of. Think of Diablo-style maps where you have open areas, but it's restricted. It's not like a massive open area.
Okay, so like Avowed.
Yeah,
Okay.
sort of like Avowed. Yeah.
Open zone, so more or less.
Pretty much. It's open zones, which to me I like. I do have to say I'm more invested in open zones than I am massive open worlds because you can do more with an open zone than you can with a massive open world unless you have stuff you plan on adding at a later time. I think that's some of the downsides to these open world games is they're just too big.
Yeah.
Starfield is a good example. They made it way too big. They should have had
And
areas.
underpopulated the game because of that.
Yeah, they did. You're talking about a human race that it's 300 years in the future. They could have easily had more population on these planets. So instead of having these small towns, they should have been bigger.
Oh yeah.
So I have my issues with Starfield. Still a great game. I love playing it when I get into it, but there are issues with it. I won't lie. But
Yeah. Now that we're
I
doing
do.
not doing a show about it, I feel more confident saying I agree.
Yeah, I was critical on it even when we were doing a show on it. But the thing is I'm going to give a realistic view of what I think about the game. I'm not going to hide anything. But at the same time, it's a good game. It has a lot of promise. But my biggest issue with that game from the beginning has been the lack of information from Bethesda about it, or they're playing forward with it.
To be fair,
If
Bethesda's been tight-lipped about everything for years now, and it's really not doing them any favors.
It's not. People these days want to know at least a direction the game is planning on going so they know what to look forward to.
Yeah, they teased one of their biggest series, their Elder Scrolls series. They teased Elder Scrolls 6, what, almost 8 years ago?
Hmm.
And haven't said a peep about it since.
No, they haven't. It's if you're going to tease it. But on the same note, you can't really argue that they're the only ones doing that.
True.
Rockstar's doing the exact same thing with GTA 6.
Yeah, and that's like the most anticipated game of the year right now, in a sea of really anticipated games this year.
There's a lot of anticipated games this year. I'm looking forward to this year as a gamer, and I'm
Yeah.
also looking forward to this year as a con goer because Dallas Expo, Dallas Fan Expo, there's a Retro Con, and there's another one near Houston, I believe. Or no, there's another one in Waco I plan on going to. I just don't remember the name of it.
WonderCon was happening this weekend
Yeah,
actually, but
I'm a little disappointed that we weren't able to go, but that's what happens when your best friend moves.
yeah, it tends to happen. And now that I
Makes
live literally like 50 minutes away from it,
Well, now that I'm pretty settled in and I know the flow of work and all of that, I can actually start planning for a trip to California to go next year.
okay, that'd be a blast.
Either WonderCon or San Diego Comic Con. One of those two.
We can get into San Diego Comic Con. That'd be the best.
I know, right? It's just hard to get tickets to that show.
Yeah, just a little bit. You got to know people.
But yeah, so that was my take on Monster Hunter Wilds. Played Pathfinder. Those of you who don't know, I'm running a dragon from the Bamboozle book, that third-party book, but it's made by the creator of Pathfinder, and it's a well-balanced character. It's not like I'm this overpowered huge dragon. No, I'm a medium-sized character that's limited on my abilities because I am slowly getting my powers back as a dragon because I tapped into my future self to get more power, and it just hasn't flooded in yet. So
Things like
it's
that take time.
actually, yeah, exactly. It's fun. I'm debating upon if I should have just stayed a dragon because I don't use my dragon form much because I went monk route instead. But if I would have went regular dragon and focused on building my dragon powers, being a dragon would have been more. But the character itself is somewhat entertaining. He's not my best. He wasn't a really thought out character when I made him. Most
Okay.
of my characters, I have a thought out plan with. This one was just, hey, we're running this dungeon crawl. It seems more of a hack and slash party. Those who have gamed with me before know that I will make some characters just based off pure roleplay purposes, even if the class or the race or the abilities I choose don't work well. Just because it's a character. It's not meant to be a min-max thing. I'm playing for the story. I'm not trying to beat everything. Some of the best stories I've seen is take Critical Role, for example. Some of the best stuff I've seen is failed roles.
Yeah, and I do that religiously.
I mean, just ask Will Wheaton.
I swear, him and I need to have a roll off just to settle it. Who has the worst luck?
Put y'all both in a game together to see who fails most.
That would be
And
hilarious.
I know, right? And then I've been on a tornado kick this past couple weeks. Don't ask me why, but I saw this YouTube video about the tornadoes and where they analyze the path of the tornado and everything that happened.
You're not going to become a hobbyist storm chaser, are you?
No, you won't. You won't see me chasing tornadoes. Sorry, not my thing. But no, it's just I went into a rabbit hole that just spiraled.
Been there and done that on many, many things.
It's nice to learn about tornadoes. It's nice to see somebody breaking down how the tornado developed, what the weather. They actually discuss what things in the atmosphere the meteorologists were looking at to determine the risk factor of a tornado. So it's actually cool because some of them will talk about that. One of them, one video I watched talked about stresses put on a wind turbine in different areas to actually calculate how much force and miles per hour of wind was hitting the wind turbine to make it collapse. And he calculated to 1 mile per hour within what their manufacturer said the limit was. So that's cool seeing that kind of stuff. But then again, I love watching physics.
Yeah.
Space and physics are fun to me. Or at least watching them, not doing them.
Well, I want to experience space.
Well, I want to experience space, but I don't want to do all the math calculations. That's the reason why I haven't gone for my aerospace engineering degree.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of math either. That's probably why I didn't do that.
So how was your week, sir?
A lot of work.
Yeah, it sounded like me.
Ever since I moved to my new spot here in Riverside, it's been nonstop. 10 plus hours a day, 5 days a week. Almost had to do 6 days, but thankfully I got that taken care of. And it's just been nonstop. And I'm the hardware specialist for the entire union, so our inventory is really, really bad at the moment because none of the guys kept it up to date.
Oh, fun.
So we're doing an entire inventory audit.
Oh, yeah,
So
you got to.
I have to go support a big event in San Diego tomorrow. And then I got to do 2 days of doing an inventory audit of our main office. So that's going to be so much fun.
I can imagine.
Yeah. My lady and I watched 2 of our movies on our movie list that I talked about a few weeks back. We watched Braveheart and The Truman Show. And
What did you think of The Truman Show?
she enjoyed it. It wasn't her favorite movie, but she enjoyed it.
That's good.
And this is going to blow your mind, dude. She liked Braveheart more than A Knight's Tale.
Weird, because Braveheart to me wasn't that great of a movie.
I love Braveheart. You shut it. It's in my top 5 movies.
Good, sir. I will take Waterworld over Braveheart.
That's blasphemy. That's pure blasphemy.
Not really, but still.
Mean. We're continuing our movie list, though. There's a lot of movies I'm excited to watch with her, like Robin Hood Men in Tights is on the list.
Of course, she needs to watch that one.
Yeah. And
She
hasn't
needs to
seen...
watch every Mel Brooks.
Well, yeah, that's pushing it. Let's start with the best one first.
Yes. Followed
See
by
if she
the
can
second
stomach
best.
it.
Well, actually, see if she can stomach the best one and then ease her into Blazing Saddles. Because if she can handle Blazing Saddles, you know she can handle any movie out there.
I was thinking Spaceballs.
Well, Spaceballs is a lot of comedy, but I'm talking about her personality when it comes to the subjects tackled in. Because if she can make fun of that stuff too, you got to keep her.
I started actually rewriting my 3rd book, finally, after many months of not doing it. And I rewrote my prologue because I lost the book when my hard drive crashed on my old computer. Lost it completely. So now I'm completely backing everything up. So I've had to rewrite the entire thing, and I redid the prologue entirely, and I think it came out a lot better. So I have hopes that this new edition, or this new draft will be a lot better than what it was. I got about halfway through the book last time, having to start all the way over again. My cheat sheet, everything.
That's where it gets rough, is you lost your cheat sheet. I would actually print that off.
I need to.
That way you have a physical copy of it in case stuff happens and you lose digital stuff.
And I'm always updating the thing, because as I'm writing the book, if I come up with a new idea and it's a certain name that I know I'm going to need in the future, that has to go in the cheat sheet. Or the concept has to go in the cheat sheet. Printing it out's not a bad idea. It's only a couple pages, so I wouldn't just like update it every month or so.
I can see it now. I come visit you, and you have a wall of nothing but papers. That is your thought process for your book.
You know what? That's probably accurate.
You know the meme of the guy standing in front of the cork board with all of the papers on it with string everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be you when I see your cheat sheet.
You know, that's not outside of the realm of possibility. There was something else I was going to talk about with my week, and I completely spaced it. And I have no idea what it was. So I'm going to just move on. Let's go into the Wii U.
So that's a game system I don't really know much about.
Yeah, I did buy it. And when I originally saw the Wii U, I thought it was just an upgrade of the Wii. That they just made the Wii as an HD edition. But what they did is they actually had a gamepad that came with it that you can use in junction with the games. Like when I played a golf game on the Wii U, I could put the tablet down at your feet and it shows you the ball.
Nice.
And it had interesting little concepts to it, but it really was just Nintendo doing an HD edition of the Wii. They modified the controls to have better movement functionality, so it was a little bit more, that's what I'm looking for, sensitive to movement. And they didn't really release any games with it. It had a very, very limited release. And that's kind of what kind of put the Wii on the deathbed, the Wii U.
Yeah, the thing is the Wii U, like you said, was just an update. It's like they took ideas that worked on the Dreamcast or that were popular on the Dreamcast with the video screen and the controller and stuff.
Yeah.
And just adapted it to their Wii and didn't really utilize it.
The Wii U was kind of like a halfway point between the Wii and the Switch, because the gamepad is technically the predecessor to the Switch. Because you could put your Wii U games on the pad and play them. Some of them, not all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And it was completely backwards compatible with everything Wii. And it came out in 2012, and it was their first system into the Gen 8, which was in direct competition with PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. And it failed massively against those two. I think that's why Nintendo really upped their game and pushed to get the Switch out sooner.
Yeah, the Switch is by far the Wii U killer, in my opinion. They had to do something because they weren't competing well at all against Xbox.
No, it was tanking against PlayStation and Xbox. In Japan, normally the Nintendo does very well against those, but it was massively behind the PlayStation.
Well, look at it this way. Look at the graphics capabilities of Nintendo systems.
Mm-hmm.
Look what was really going well with Nintendo at the time versus what wasn't. 3D, the 3DS, all of that rolling really well for Nintendo.
Yeah, their money makers were their software and their handhelds.
And that's why the Switch is doing so well, is because it's a handheld system. I still am a firm believer Nintendo needs to license out their games.
I'm with you on that too. I brought that up too.
And license out their games, but keep the consoles, the handhelds going, because they own that market.
See, that's exactly what I said last episode when I was talking to Archon. He disagreed with me, but I think you're on the right idea there, because their software is what makes Nintendo what it is.
Yes.
Their first-party IPs, Mario, Zelda, Pokemon, the works.
Yeah.
It would kill on the market.
Could you imagine playing Metroid on Unreal 5?
That would be fun. I'm not a big Metroid fan, but I'd give it a go. Even the Super Mario Brothers game with updated modern console graphics and with the controls, that'd be fun.
Of course. And it's not like they won't make money off of that, because licensing out their software, that's what Sega does, and Sega makes quite a bit of money.
Exactly. That was my point I brought up too. Sega went from dying as a company to flourishing as a company when they made the shift from ditching hardware and went straight into software. No, Nintendo shouldn't ditch their hardware. Like you said, keeping the handhelds, they have that market cornered. Yeah, nothing else can compete with that.
Especially now that they're taking AAA titles and throwing them onto the Switch. The graphics might not be the best. I'm going to use Mortal Kombat 11 because I played it on both.
Yeah, that's a good example.
And I played that on the Switch, which is amazing that they allowed that kind of game on the Switch.
Yep.
But the graphics they're not the high quality you expect on the consoles, Xbox, PlayStation. However, they're not horrible.
No, they're not.
So they won't win graphics awards on the Switch, but guess what? I can take the Switch with me and play Mortal Kombat 11. Now, if they had save capability, that'd be great because then I could just save what I'm playing on my Switch to the console and play it when I get home or whatever.
And people would argue, well, you just dock your Switch and do it on the TV.
That is an option, but I don't really play my Switch on the TV.
And a lot of people do. But if I wind up getting a Switch, I'm gonna want to get the dock version.
Yeah, it's not bad. The dock, I do play, but I do play it on the Switch. I do play the Switch on the TV, but it's not games that I play regularly on the Switch because I play a lot of Super Nintendo games on the Switch.
Mm.
And those graphics don't scale well to a big screen TV.
Yeah, not the greatest. So
yeah,
the Wii U had 790 games released in 5 years, but only 208 of those were physical disc first-party titles. The rest were all in their online Nintendo store, and the vast majority of those were what we call shovelware. So just cheap, quick games that companies put out. On Metacritic, there's only 8 pages and 186 rated games. Compared to other systems, that's like a drop in the bucket. And the funny thing is their number one game actually came out on primarily for the Switch, but they released it for the Wii U. That was the Legend of Zelda
Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild.
That is my favorite game on the Switch, outside of Pokemon.
That's the only game that I really want to play on the Switch. Let's
see.
My number one. And they had Super Mario 3D World was number 2. Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U.
I never played it on the Wii U.
Rayman Legends, Bayonetta 2, which I've heard of that, never played it. And they had an HD version of Wind Waker.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, Mario Kart DLC. That's not the actual Mario Kart. That's just DLC, which doesn't really count.
Oh, Mario Kart 8 DLC Pack 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then what?
Yeah, I have no idea.
No, this is what's funny. Number 7, Mario Kart DLC Pack 2. Number 12, Mario Kart 8.
Yep. And number
when
15.
The DLC is bigger than the actual game.
Oops. I don't know if they should ever really put DLC in Metacritic because it's just a part of the same game.
Yeah, unless it's a standalone, they shouldn't. Number 8 is Guacamelee.
Yeah, I never heard of it.
Super Turbo Championship Edition.
No idea.
Skylanders, Swap Force.
Yep. And then another one that in the top 10 is one I've never heard of, Axiom Verge.
Which beat out Deus Ex, Human Revolution.
And Mario Kart 8 and Super Mario Maker. And I remember Super Mario Maker being really, really popular because people were building their own levels and making them super impossible.
So the thing is, though, if you look at some of these games and you start going through, and it's like, all right, I'm probably not going to play half these games. But this is where our taste in games versus the vast majority of the buyers of these games, or these consoles, I should say, vastly differ.
Yeah, and a lot of the games that came out for the Wii U were just HD remakes of the GameCube and Wii.
This is sad. I've never played the game, so I don't know how good it is. But The Legend of Zelda: Twilight Princess is ranked 22.
Mm-hmm. Which was a Wii title that they just remastered and put on Wii U.
But the Wii is where you started seeing a lot of this. Mass Effect, Assassin's Creed, all those AAA titles that weren't strictly towards Nintendo started coming over on those consoles because the graphics were a lot better.
Yeah. And like usual, the bottom 10, 20 of them are games I've never heard of them, and most of them are shovelware. Like the 11 on the Metascore is one of the lowest I've ever seen, and that's Family Party. Then they had Game Party, ESPN Sports Collection, Sonic Boom.
But this is where you start also getting into TV and movie tie-ins, Adventure Time, Ben 10.
Those never work. Hardly ever. I mean, I can't say never because there are some that were pretty decent. The one that actually surprised me in that bottom 10 is an Animal Crossing. Amiibo Festival. So I think it's one of those ones where you had to get the little figurines for.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, that's the Wii U in a nutshell. In my mind, it's one of Nintendo's biggest flops.
The Wii systems had good concepts.
The Wii was great, yeah. But the Wii U was just a miss.
We had the perfect opportunity to go 3D before anybody else because they already had the working controllers. Did you imagine if they would have went with 3D headsets before PlayStation?
Yeah.
Now, granted, I wouldn't want to play Wii Sport with those weird characters in 3D because that just was
Weird.
bad enough on TV.
The Mii's.
Yeah, the Mii's.
Well, they didn't have the system that had enough graphics to really support that, so they went with what they could. And Nintendo's all about cute.
Yes,
Well,
they are.
that's the Wii U. We have some things in the news, but before we do that, you wanted to talk a little bit about tabletop?
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about tabletop because we've been talking video games a lot the past several weeks with our Gaming in the Ages, or Gaming Through the Ages. And there's more to gaming than just video games. There's more to being a nerd than just video games. And we haven't really been touching into a lot of other topics. So when we were coming up with an idea for the show, since it was just me and Widget, I was like, why don't we talk about tabletops? We haven't talked about those in a while. And then I also was like, why don't we talk about something spacey, real science to cover all of our bases so we hit all of our nerds.
Well, we're running out of time, so we got to get on it.
All right, so I just want to know, when you develop a character, what is your go-to on developing a character in a tabletop RPG?
My go-to?
No, what is your thought process when you develop a character? Do you min-max? Do you actually build a character for roleplay? What?
I do a combination of both, mostly. I don't get really too much into their backstory. I focus on building the character's capabilities first.
I always focus on backstory first, and then I build the capabilities around the backstory.
Being an author, I don't really focus too much on story when I'm doing those games.
Yeah, see, I'm not an author. That is weird. But no, when you build a character, different players have different styles. What system of tabletop RPG do you like the best when it comes to building a character? And which one do you not like?
Dungeons & Dragons 3.5. I liked it, and I liked 5 to an extent. 4 was trash. But which one? I think it was 3.5 that had too much number crunching.
3.5 had way too much number crunching. That's the reason why a lot of people like 5th edition more.
Yeah, I like that more because they simplified it. I wasn't a big fan of Pathfinder.
Pathfinder, the remaster is actually interesting on how it builds a character because thanks to the OGL and all the stuff that happened with that, Pathfinder remastered their 2nd edition and developed a whole new way of building your stats versus the typical D20 way. However, my favorite is a combination between either, what's that game called? I forgot the name of the game. World of Darkness, which is a lot of narrative based, and 5th edition. And I like 5th edition because it still gives you enough stats to be able to roleplay your character, but it doesn't have like 500 skills for you to choose from to be able to figure out how you want to roleplay your character. They crunched a lot of that stuff together and made it more simplistic. My worst favorite is GURPS.
I've never heard of that.
All right, GURPS is called the Generic Universal Role-Playing System. I forgot who developed it, but it's an older system, and it is the most complicated system in existence to build. If you want to build it, you can build it in GURPS. Problem is, the way they do magic in that game, you need to pick the spells you want to build towards and build it up backwards and start your character with the starting skills you need because every spell higher up has prerequisites.
See,
that you have to have.
My tabletop experience is extremely limited compared to you. Like, I did 3.5, 5, I did Pathfinder, and that's pretty much it. Other than the system that I helped design called Naiad.
Yeah.
Other than that, that's all I did.
Thanks to living in Washington for 7 years, I learned a lot of different systems. I've also play tested a couple. One of my favorite systems to build in, I would have to say, what was it? World of Darkness is one of my really top all-time favorites to build in. After reading through the book, I'd have to say Star Trek Adventure because you can build it on
that
a
one
life
looks
path.
from after you showed me the materials and we talked about it. That one sounds actually really cool.
I do want to get into that and build up a game and run it with like 1 or 2 people because it's Star Trek. You don't need a huge crew to run their missions.
As long as you're not a red shirt.
Yeah. Hey, that's what made Scotty so great. He's the only red shirt that never died. I just really wanted to touch base on what you thought. I have a lot more experience with tabletops, so my all-time favorite system in general is going to be World of Darkness, followed by Fate, just because they're heavily narrative-based.
What we really need to do is get, sorry to interrupt you, buddy, but we need to get a couple more people that are really into tabletop, like my son and someone else, and really go into it.
Yeah. The problem is
I don't all about it.
I don't know how diverse your son is in tabletops.
Mostly plays D&D. I don't know if he's done any other systems or what, but he plays it a lot.
But yeah, we could always have a D&D episode easily. What we like, what we don't like, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, we are running a little bit short. You want to hit the news?
Yeah. Physicists, I should say, now say that time travel is possible. And they mostly talk about, this article was from the Daily Mail, which is interesting, about how physicists talk about an Einstein theory that the faster you got to the speed of light, the more you skip through time. So if you were able to get like right before speed of light, because you can't theoretically get speed of light because you have mass, you would skip hundreds and hundreds of years every second. Mm-hmm. It's a complicated theory, but they were talking about how like the astronauts in the space station are, in quotes here, time travelers because they're milliseconds ahead of everyone else on Earth because they're at the rate of speed that they travel.
Yeah, but it's interesting when you think about it.
Yeah. Technically, if you were on a starship and you were able to travel at speed of light or a Mach 2 or whatever, or like speed of light times 2, you would be able to go out for a little 1 week adventure, but by the time you got back, according to that theory, the Earth would be 10,000 years in the future.
So here's my problem with these theories, and it's because we don't have the speed to actually test it.
It's just math. It's not. It's untested math.
Yeah,
is what it is.
Math ain't always right.
True.
They're calculating based on what they have to do some assumption, and until we actually hit those speeds and actually verify the assumptions, that's where we run into. However, I do see the science behind it, and Interstellar did a good job covering the science behind it as well. So people might want to ask, if that's the case with real space and astronauts, how would we get around that in space travel? And how do they get around it in sci-fi movie? Well, technically they don't. They travel to another dimension in Star Wars. Hyperspace is another dimension. They also have things called inertial dampeners on starships and Star Trek to overcome the time dilation.
One of the big theories is that if you wanted to avoid going through like time travel by going the speed of light, by basically going through a space and time bubble.
Yeah. Or quantum tunneling.
Yeah. They're saying that... Yeah,
quantum tunneling is quantum physics, and I don't like quantum physics. It's too complicated.
Yeah. it's I was reading a book about it, and it's out there. They said that you can travel backwards in theory. It's a lot more difficult than going forward because you're not just going fast. They're saying in order to move backwards, you need to basically bend space and time. The black hole theory. Mm-hmm. For a long time, a lot of scientists were saying that no, time travel is actually absolutely impossible. There's no way you could do it. Well, now they're saying you can. And a lot of the core principles of math in itself can be flawed because we have no way of testing it, so we don't know.
Yeah, it's even Stephen Hawking before, near the end of his time, he was talking about space travel and how theoretically it is possible.
Yeah.
Theoretical physicist.
That's all they do, think is they assume.
If the thought process a lot of people have is it should be easier to go back in time than forward in time because then at least you know what's happened back in time versus what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then you run into the religious people who say it's already planned out. So if you go into the future and you already know what's going to happen, it gets complicated.
And Einstein's theory of relativity is extremely debated in many different science circles. Some of them don't think it's possible. Others, they do think he's right. It's really hard to gauge it until we have a way of actually testing it.
Yeah, until we can hit higher speeds than what we already travel and put a stopwatch at both locations and hit start and see what the clock says when they hit their location versus what time it is back here on Earth. That's really the only way you're going to be able to tell what the time difference is.
So do you have any other news before I go into NASA?
No.
So NASA has they basically have this publicly released plan for the next, I want to say 50 years is what it is. And it has 3 parts to this plan. One is lunar exploration and the Artemis program. Artemis program basically is NASA's mission to colonize the moon, to put it simple. And they have their Mars exploration, which the beginning of that whole Mars mission was based off the Mars 2020 rover. And the main mission of that rover is to explore the climate and the geology of the planet so that we can prepare for human exploration and human colonization. And they have a couple planned out that are really cool. JXA's Martian Moon Exploration Mission, and it's planned, I think, in the next 10 years. It will explore Mars's moons, Phobos and Deimos, and collect material from their surfaces.
I think that would be actually pretty useful.
Yeah. And the Artemis program, they're kicking off. And the Artemis 2, the first crewed flight to the moon, is scheduled to launch in 2026, so next year.
Oh, nice. That's not bad at all.
Yeah. And they have the Lunar Trailblazer and Prime 1 missions. These missions are part of NASA's Simplex initiative, which will explore the moon's water resources and test lunar drilling techniques. So they're talking about getting metals off the moon because we know that they exist, and we just don't know how much and things of that nature. And then there's the Viper mission, which is going to be launched in the next 5 years, which is designed to search for water on the moon. And they have a full, actual laid out plan for an established lunar base.
I wonder what makes them think there would be water on the moon, though.
That's a good question. I was wondering about that. I was going to look into the whole Viper mission just to see what gave them the basis to do that.
Yeah, I get going to different bodies to look for resources we can mine, but because our solar system's full of mineable objects, if we can just get where we can actually travel out there and build up a permanent structure in that area to mine. When you think about water on a surface or on a body
underneath the surface,
they're usually looking at some kind of indicator that there's potentially water or was water there.
And I think it has something to do with the dark side of the moon.
Maybe.
It's considerably colder than the light side. Because a lot of people don't know that the moon doesn't rotate pretty much. There's the one side of the face of the moon is always exposed to light. The other side is always exposed to darkness.
That's why when you look at the moon, it's always the same pattern. It's tidally locked. It doesn't move. So
it took us a long time to ever see the backside of the moon. Now they're starting to map it, and I think they're getting a lot of these theories based off of that.
It's possible.
Yeah, that's something I want to look into, actually. I've got to remind me. I'm going to look into the Viper mission.
Yeah, the very first question anybody should ask if you're into space and stuff, why are they wanting to go up there and look for this? Something has given them an indication of some sort that there's potential that it could have been there.
Oh, the Viper mission is actually supposed to launch this year.
Oh, nice. Now, the way I think about it is there are scientific theories that the moon is part of Earth that was blown off by an asteroid impact. So if Earth has water, there's potential that the moon has water.
Yeah.
Based on that theory. They might have found something with the telescope with all the different satellites we have.
And the moon's been a very high focus recently, which is I found very interesting.
Because it's the closest body that we could potentially get resources from without tapping into everything we have on our planet. Very,
very true. They have a whole deep space exploration set up as well. That one is what really fascinates me the most. And one of the ones that's launching this year is the Europa Clipper, which is going to be, its sole mission is to explore and actually land on Jupiter's largest moon, Europa.
I think that's a good idea because we know, the sad part is we know more about moons from other bodies in our solar system than we do our own moon.
True.
She landed on our moon.
Another moon mission they're doing is one of Saturn's moons, Titan. Those who are into space have heard a lot about Titan, and it's highly believed that Europa and Titan have water or some form of water on it.
So one thing a lot of people who are into sci-fi should always recognize Titan because it's like the number one. I never understood why, but it's like the number one outside of Earth moon that people use as a base of operation.
Yeah, the Dragonfly mission, the one to Titan, is supposed to launch in 2028.
It's only a few years away. But yeah, Titan is one of the books, the Ember War series. They have a base on Titan. Star Trek has a base on Titan. I think Star Trek is a space station. But there's a lot of different systems out there that have something around Titan, and I want to know why people tie into that.
Because of what they've been able to see from telescopes. It has the closest atmosphere to Earth in our solar system from what we can tell.
All right, so why don't we aim the James Webb Telescope at it and take a picture of it?
We have.
I haven't seen a picture of it. But James Webb Telescope is awesome. The images you see, how crisp and clear they are, makes space look so much more cool.
There's some really cool images when they have some close-ups of Titan that are more recent, and it almost looks like Earth, just colder and more ice.
Wow, that does look.
See?
I'm looking at it right now. Oh wow, the colors on it are just amazing, though.
Right? And
But
then,
no, the James Webb Telescope is the best thing we could have put in space, in my opinion, right now.
heck yeah. And there's another 2 telescopes going up in the near future. One of them not ours, but still, more the merrier.
And for our listeners in the UK, I am sorry about the loss of your space rocket that crashed.
Oh yeah, I did hear about that. One of the cool projects they're going to be aiming to launch in the next 10 years is called the Breakthrough Starshot. And it's a project that aims to revolutionize space exploration by using light cells to propel spacecraft at a significant fraction of the speed of light. And it's highly, highly probable that they can succeed.
How?
How?
Using light particles?
Yeah, there's a few big articles on it, actually, and it looks very interesting. And
Using
I believe it was
photon.
one of Stephen Hawking's brainchildren. And they're developing new NASA hardware, and they have a heavy focus on space colonization right now, which I think is pretty cool.
I'm just amazing how they plan on using photons to push a ship.
Yeah, I don't know. Might be something to look into. But if you guys are interested in the NASA's plan for the future, you just go to nasa.gov, and they have the whole 60-year and counting plan. Really, really cool stuff in there. And we are way over time.
Yeah, we are way over time.
So we're going to wrap up the show here. All right, everybody. If you want to reach this show or email us, which our email is basically for the entire network, so any show that we do, this email is the way to go, podcastraw@gmail.com. Our X is at podcastraw. Our Facebook is Raw Podcast. Our Instagram.
Raw Podcast 1.
And our Discord, the place to be, is discord.gg/Raw Podcasts. Plural.
We are always paying attention to it. Even if I'm not active, I look and see what people are saying. So
Yeah, I read it daily. And if people message me directly, I try to get back to them within a day. You can follow us individually as well. I am at The Wigit, TheWigit, everywhere.
you can follow me everywhere at some variation of Tomcat213 or Rook213.
Have a fantastic week out there, everybody.
Y'all stay nerdy.